All right, time for another Joshcast. Thursday, which I really hate Thursdays. Uh, every time I get to Thursday, I'm just exhausted. And the only advantage of that is that I'm too exhausted to be depressed sometimes. So that's a plus. Constipation, really, really constipated lately. I mean, beyond. This is madness. This is Sparta constipation. That's what I'm at right now. And it's my diet and stress. I'm also worried about my mother. I notice whenever I worry about my mother, I get really constipated. I just kind of wish my intestines could let my brain handle the anxiety and not have to help with being dysfunctional. That would be useful. But I'm worried because I think she's saying things and then forgetting that she said them, which that worries me. And I don't know what that bodes. But I guess this is and they're getting older, my parents. And that's a part of life, I guess, which I hate that. It's a part of life. Well, it doesn't have to be. Why are we not immortal yet? Where's our flying cars? I think it's also sad to me because she's a very smart person, and so this is, I'm watching. I hate to see anything happen to her mind. But what can I do? What can one do? I'm also feeling I'm feeling disconnected. What happens is I was really depressed a couple of days ago, and frankly a little suicidal. And the upside of that is that I actually feel like I dropped the bullshit, and I feel more connected to feelings. And then when I start to feel better, and by the way, I don't even know if what this is. It's not that I don't know. I don't want to say I feel better anymore after I get out of these dark moods. I don't call it feeling better. I call it, taking a momentary break from the dark mood. I call it because because I'm not sure it is better. I think I just become emotionally disconnected, and then I go back to being able to function. That's not better. I'm tired of slipping back into being overly analytical and not feeling anything as a way to run from the pain. I don't want to do that. I still don't have a license plate. I sent paperwork to the DMV. I have not heard anything from the DMV. I don't know if the DMV is open, and I don't know if we even still have a DMV. Does California still have a government? What's going on? And I'm reading about all the evictions that are starting to happen now. People have nowhere to go. They're becoming homeless. That's horrible. That's utterly horrible. And no one is doing anything about it. I just... Here's my question. Is it bad now, or was it always this bad, and we were just distracted with all the football games and the baseball games and the movies and everything else? And is it now just we see it? I mean, basically, I think we're living in the dark ages, but with Netflix. Okay, here's the other thing. As I'm making this right turn, and I know I've discussed this on podcasts before, there's this bicyclist. I hate bicyclists. I know I shouldn't. I know, but when I'm driving and there's this bicyclist, they cannot go as fast as a car. I have to be careful. I have to slow down. You know, I have to go back to being a human being. I just can't. It frustrates me every time. The city's falling apart anyway. Can we just rebuild the city so that there's car paths and bike paths, and they're separate and they never cross? Please, can we please do that? And you know what? I feel like too the bicyclists. You know, they have the really thin bikes and they wear the Speedo thing, the whole body Speedo, and they look like they're about to race in the Tour de France. It irritates me every time I see them dressed like that. Because they're just biking around going, I am healthy. I'm very healthy. I'm healthy. I'm really into my butt. I'm eating much better than you are. Now, I know obviously they're not saying that, but that's what... I'm resentful, all right? I'm resentful. I don't like being reminded that I'm a slob. And that I'm not... I'm not physically fit, physically active. I hate being reminded of that. And I have to slow down. So I know the bicyclist is not literally saying that to me, but that's what I hear when they're going by. Hey, just me being healthy. Just me being healthy. Yeah, after this I'm going to read some Deepak Chopra and listen to some light jazz and now here's the problem with what I just said. Now I feel guilty for what I just said because I don't want to equate that kind of person with light jazz. That's not fair. I feel like the jazz musicians would understand my frustration when getting caught behind a bicyclist on the road. I feel like they wouldn't get upset because they're much more enlightened than I am, but they'd go, yeah, no, we get it, we understand. So, no, I don't think that guy, he listens to Deepak Chopra, but we got to change the music that he listens to. It's got to be, I listen to Deepak Chopra, but no, they probably do listen to Deepak Chopra. That's what they listen to instead of music. They read Deepak Chopra and then they listen to Deepak Chopra. I'm having a conversation with no one right now. And still, I'm managing to feel guilty about things I'm saying in the conversation. Fascinating. Isn't it fascinating how my brain works? This is why I should drink. Oh, I'd kill it as an alcoholic. I'd be such a great alcoholic. Can I tell you something? I would be, it would be wonderful. It really would. That's why I can't drink. I think people drink to lower their inhibitions. I would drink to not think. I would take a drink so that I could spend 30 seconds without thinking about anything. This is why I genuinely am convinced I'm an alcoholic, and this is why I don't want to touch drugs or alcohol. Because I don't want to... I know that it would be great. I accidentally took a sip of champagne 3 years ago, and I still remember how it... even the sip of champagne, it was like the front half of my brain just went to sleep a little bit. And I could still function. I could still think. I could still do what I needed to do. But there wasn't that. Tension. That it knocked off just a little bit of the anxiety. And that tells me I'm an alcoholic. Or I could very easily become an alcoholic. I've never taken a full drink, and yet there are days where I crave a full drink. That's probably how much of an alcoholic I am. I never even started drinking, and I'm like, I need a drink. Well, I'm feeling more emotionally connected now. So that's something. I hope this is actually capturing my voice. And they're doing road construction, of course, which makes sense. It's the only job we can do in Los Angeles. And somehow, by the end of this, the roads will still be shit. But it won't matter because no one will be here to drive on the roads. How can the economy be in the shit tank and the rent is still the same? How is this possible? I do not understand the economy. And unfortunately, neither does the government or anyone else. Oh boy. Seeing empty storefronts, also depressing. I don't know, the nerve of the governor too, to just say, well, 70% of the economy is reopened. What does that mean? 70% of the economy is reopened. Well, 70% of my body is working. Well, that's like... See, my arms and legs are not working then. That's... Well, I still have 70% of the blood. Sure, I've been shot. Sure, I'm bleeding to death. But 70%, that's fine. We went from 100% to... I don't know, what, 25, 30%? And now we're at 70%, and that feels like a stretch to me. I think it's probably closer to 50%. But I'm digressing from the main issue, which is me feeling emotionally connected. That's what I want to talk about. And me just feeling terrified of everything. I mean, when I get really, really depressed, I will tell you the one advantage of being really, really depressed is then I just don't care anymore. And maybe that's why I get really, really depressed. At the end of the day, it's just my brain shutting off from it. It's just too much to take in. But then I have to go and do a stupid thing like feel better. But I am, I started talking there and I had nothing to say. But it was just my brain on autopilot. I had nothing to say there. What do I have to say? What am I thinking? I'm not happy with where I'm living either right now because there's no hot water. It's been 3 weeks. I think I'm going to need to... I don't know how complaining will help. I keep being reassured. No, I'm on it. I'm on it. We're getting it. We're getting it. I'm really irate. My boss is saying, you should tell them you're not going to pay rent until they fix that water heater. And I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. The only problem with that is that if I don't pay rent, that might get in the way of them actually having the money to fix the water heater. So it's it's a cheap place, so I get what I pay for. You get what you pay for. What a great expression. The only thing where that really doesn't seem to apply is health insurance. Because I was paying through the nose, and I didn't really quite feel like I was getting what I paid for. Then again, I'm doing the HMO thing now. I haven't had to go in yet for anything, but I may go, I get what I pay for. Feel like I'm going to walk into I don't know what I'm going to walk into. Doctor, I've got this weird lump on my rib. And the doctor's like, let's put leeches on it. And we'll burn a witch at the stake. Burn 2 witches at the stake and call me in the morning. Great. Dark Ages with Netflix. That is where we are at, my friends. That is where we are at. Well, that's the end of this.